hot or not, HP all-in-one printing solution. What's going on here?
The all-in printing solution. So this was introduced or talked about yesterday. It's similar to what they've done like with their ink subscriptions, ink and paper. Well, now they're doing printer, ink and paper. And I kind of went into this going, well, I'm not really going to be interested in the printing. It's just not part of what I cover. It's not, really my swim lane.
Right.
But here's where I find this really interesting is with hybrid work, I now share a printer with my kids. I now have a thing where I've got kids who are printing, 57 pages of a document because they don't like the color of it, or they've got to add this or change that. And then I go to print something for a presentation and I'm out of ink or I'm out of paper. And I'm like, this isn't working, right? But I don't want to necessarily have two printers in the house. So when you've got something that's like completely managed, and I may want to upgrade my printer because now we've got 4 or 5 people in the house using it. So rather than just have like this ink and paper subscription, it's an all-in solution.
Yeah.
And I didn't get an exact date on when. Well, they didn't say an exact date on when it's going to be launching, but I think it's going to be early next year. And I think this is a really compelling, kind of like what you're talking about. These managed rooms. It's like I don't necessarily want to own all this equipment and have to be responsible for like when does it need this and when should I upgrade or when am I out of ink, and that's all managed for you. And I did speak to one of their product managers in print last night, and what she told me is that convenience trumps everything. And this isn't a very expensive service, but it may be, they jokingly say like, from the cost of a latte kind of thing. But it when they did testing, and they do a lot of testing, this is something about HP and Poly that you can really appreciate is the amount of testing that they do and the number of customers they talk to. People just want convenience. They want it to work and they want it to be there when they need it. And so I think this is just a really great solution. Not something I thought I'd ever be excited about, let's be honest, but I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's interesting. The whole view of print is we're not printing until we print, right? And at home, when your consumer projects, kids projects, we're still doing that. And sometimes from a market perspective, we forget that countries are in different places. And there are some countries that printing is increasing.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is printing also extends to 3D print with metals and plastics. But most of the pop-up stores, when you see the art that's used, those are printed.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at some of the big promotions that consumer packaged goods companies use, those are printed. And most of the time, it's printed on an HP industrial printer. Gosh, we've had a HP printer, one of their easy to use ones from, it looks nice. It's actually in the living room, which is crazy. But it looks really nice. And my wife and I are printing something probably once a week, and we're very digital people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Phones, tablets, and PCs. But what HP is doing, you mentioned this, is simplicity, where it's instant ink, setup that works. And it wouldn't be crazy a day that using generative AI, everybody could set up a printer, like always. It would always print. It would find a way to print.
Mm-hmm.
But for those of you who want to know more about printers, I urge you to look at all the ways that you can do this. But it's great stuff. Yeah, all-in-ones are a big deal, and it's all about simplicity and space saving. And HP is also doing a lot to make their ink better for the environment.
Yes.
Having paper that is better for the environment. But you can imagine what a tough spot you're in when it's like, hey, I'm for the environment, but I create a lot of paper waste. That
Yeah.
how do you deal with it? But I think HP deals with it pretty well. They get ahead of it in
Yeah.
terms of the messaging. By the way, just a side note, I was kind of fascinated that when Enrique Lores went through the three trends, right? Flexibility, AI impact, and trust is 3 years ago, sustainability was on that. But I think, you having the degree in sustainability, the extra degree, is it Yale?
Yes, it's Yale.
Yeah, you
It's great.
probably discussed and can see the changing ways that companies are talking about
Yes.
the environment out
Yeah.
there, and it's become a very polarizing issue. And while HP didn't run away with it because trust was the value, talked about the environment, the new business models, new materials, they didn't lead with it,
Right.
okay, like they had before. And I just find that as just a milestone on the changing dialogue of this. And I don't know, you had a lot of things going on, but it'd be interesting to get your take time on sometime on the Hot Desk podcast, because you do cover sustainability,
Yes.
some other things. I would love to get your take on it.
I think that is a great topic to discuss another time when we've got some time, because there is a change in that where people are pulling back from talking about it, but they're talking about it in different ways. And there are reasons for that. There's, some disclosures on lobbying and things that could really catch people. If people can't just go out and claim we're green anymore,
Yeah,
because they're going to get caught greenwashing if they're,
yeah,
and I think HP has done a really great job with their sustainability efforts. And I think the way that they weaved it in yesterday was a lot about how they work sustainability into design.